Congress still trying to figure out how to deal with its debt, but some states are in better shape right now. In fact, 28 states ended fiscal 2011 with more money than they expected, and more than a dozen ended with a budget surplus. Joining us now on the phone, Idaho Governor C.L. Otter. And Governor, it's great to have you with us. How did you end up with an $85 million budget surplus at the end of a recession? How did you do it?
Over the last 3 years, Cheryl, we've been cutting back. When we did have a surplus in 2007, we actually saved the money and put it in rainy day funds because we anticipated we could have problems later on. And then we went through some efficiency standards and research in order to combine agencies and simply cut back on government.
You know, you probably had a lot of opposition, I'm assuming. What type of opposition did you have when you initially presented your plans to the state folks there?
Well, Cheryl, just exactly like what's going on in Washington, D.C., everybody wanted to cut back, but they didn't want to cut back on their programs. And so what we had to do was make some tough decisions to say, what is the proper role of government? Where can government and where should government make a difference, and where should they not? And so between that and then going through zero-based budgeting, which was to go back to $1 in, let's say, an agency with $1 million, we went back to the first dollar instead of just what they wanted the next year, and made them then justify from $1 instead of from $1 million.
Governor Otter, this is Matt McCall. I know you have a really good relationship with China. You have, as far as states are concerned. What portion of your economy comes with trade from China, and how do you see that evolving in the future?
Well, China is one of our largest trading partners. We have a surplus of trade with China. In other words, they buy in our $5.5 billion export market that we have out of Idaho, high tech and food primarily. We continue to encourage that, and we have a surplus with them. And as we do with many of the other foreign nations that we deal with, and we're going to continue to deal with them.
Governor, there's a debate in Washington about spending and revenues, i.e. taxes. So you did it on the spending side. Did you do anything on the tax side, either raising or lowering?
What we did is we set in motion a system for 2 or 3 years down the road, starting in 12-13, where we will begin to lower the corporate income tax, the personal income tax, and then eventually the individual income tax. We have a fairly balanced tax structure. We have a 6% sales tax and a 7.8% personal income tax and a 7.5% corporate tax, and we're going to continue to work to lower all of those taxes so that we can continue to be business friendly. One of the biggest things that we've concentrated on is to make sure that we're not injuring businesses that are already here and wanting to grow, or new businesses that want to move in, by maintaining a good business climate, and we're going to continue to do that.
How is business doing in your state right now?
Well, one of the things we're struggling with, Cheryl, is the unemployment. But, we have a lot of sideline capital, just like there is in many states where the corporations are actually keeping that money right in their treasuries. And quite frankly, I can't blame them. Nobody knows what Obamacare is going to cost them. Nobody knows what cap and trade, what's going to happen to it, or what it's going to cost them. And so they're reluctant, which I can understand, having been in business myself for 30 years. They're reluctant to make those capital investments, which would create more job stations and therefore create more of economy. And so we're kind of at the beck and call of the federal government and all of the uncertainty that they've caused in the marketplace. Businesses want stability and they want predictability, and if they can't get that, they're not going to invest the capital.
Idaho Governor C.L. Otter. Governor, thank you very much. And Idaho looks like a beautiful place. I'm hoping to visit someday. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.